So before we get into the story, I'm gonna tell y'all about this one time. I went to Chick-fil-A and me and my homegirl went. We was on the job on the clock or whatever, but we was having a lunch break, and so this Caucasian boy came up to me. I think he was younger than me. He was totally younger than me, and he was like, I love those swirls on your head." And you know, you can see my little. I didn't really gel my edges, so I'm not gonna really show you my edges because they messed up right now. Cause I ain't really gel them now. He was like, "Yeah, I like those swirls on your head," and I was on the phone. I stopped my whole phone conversation. I was like, I wasn't mean to him, but I was just like, "Honey," and I just told him the nicest way I could. I was like, you know, next time you tell a black girl that, you tell her that you like her baby hairs or her edges. That's what they call. They're not swirls. And my homegirl was just laughing. I'm like, because I don't know if you're going to say it to the wrong black chick or a hood black chick or the wrong one. And then she might cuss you out and go off on you. But I'm not that mean. So I'm just letting you know they're not swirls. They're not circles. They're edges. So I had to let him know. And then he was like, okay, okay. And he just started laughing. And he was like, okay, well, they're really pretty. I just never seen that before. And I was like, thank you, thank you, thank you. But just remember that their edges or the baby hairs and not swirls. Okay, so this video is going to be a story time about a stepdad I used to have when I was like in middle school. Yeah, I was like in middle school. So this is going to be a story time. So this story is about when I was younger. So when I was younger, so for those don't know, I have 6 sisters. So I have 6 sisters. So out of the 6, I had one of them that was living with me, and we are like, she's like, I think we're like 4 years apart. We're like 4 years apart, I believe so. So we're like 4 years apart, and so my sister was younger at this time. So if I'm in middle school, you know, she's like in elementary. So we was like 4 years apart, and my mom. So at this time, we was living with my mom, and my mom was dating this man. To be honest with y'all, a lot of stuff that happened in the story I'm telling you, that it's a lot that I don't remember because, you know, I went through a lot of traumatizing stuff as a kid, and then as I got older, I started drinking and smoking, and then when you start drinking and smoking, you know, it kills brain cells, so a lot of stuff in your memory you just don't remember. So I don't remember everything. I just remember only what I'm about to tell y'all. That's all I remember. So how my mom met this man, I don't remember. I don't remember like when he started coming in our lives. I don't remember all of that. All I remember is, like I said, what I'm about to tell y'all. So this stepdad I had, he was crazy. I don't know what was wrong with him. I do know that he was not a man of God. He didn't go to church. So when a person is like that, they have many, you know, when, like I was saying in one of my other videos, when you live in so much sin, that's when you give pretty much, it's like you sign an agreement with these demonic spirits, and they have the legal rights to come in your life. They have the legal rights to pretty much kind of control you. It's kind of like demon possessed. They kind of have the right to control you. And I will make another video about this for people who don't believe me, because this is when I started noticing when I would get drunk, and I started noticing that I'm becoming demon possessed, and I'm being possessed by another entity that's not me. And my husband had to start, you know, understanding that, like when I would get drunk and he started noticing I would do things and say things, and he know that's not Katasha. And he know, like one time I started talking in a different language and I was asleep. And then that's when my husband was like, yeah, my woman, me, I was demon possessed by a demon. Why? Because I was living in so much sin. I was thinking that, you know, getting drunk all the time and doing this, that everything was okay. So that's why I'm making these videos for people who don't believe in these things. That, yeah, at once upon a time I was demon possessed, but those demons did get cast out. out of me, I did get deliverance. So this is the whole reason why I'm making this story. And I will make a story about me being demon possessed and how my deliverance story went and how I got the demons cast out of me. But one thing I'm gonna say is, for people who don't know if a demon is in you or not, is you could tell by your dreams. And I will make a video about that, talking about your dreams and how you would know through your dreams. Your dreams tells you so much. Your dream is a way how God communicates with you. He tells you things. He warns you about things through your dream. That's one of the ways he communicates with you. But he communicates with you so many other ways. But I know for me, dreams is the number one way that God talks to me. He been talking to me since I was like a little bitty elementary kid, but I just never knew. I just thought, well, people told me, oh, it's just because I ate pizza or because I ate these hot Cheetos. That's what caused a dream. And then as I got older, I'm like, I'm not eating pizza every day. And I don't think me eating pizza is causing me to speak a different language and me being demon possessed. And that's when I came to my senses and started noticing, like, this stuff that they saying is not true. They're just stereotypal stuff. It's like when my husband told me, don't sweep my feet, and then he posts salt on the back of his foot after I accidentally swept his foot. That's stereotypes and stuff. That stuff is not true. They're just stuff that people just believe in. To be honest with you, I wish my husband would stop believing that if he sweep my feet, bad luck will come up upon me. I wish he would stop believing that, but there's nothing I can do about that. So, whatever. What? Okay, so back to the story. So, to be honest, I really don't remember how my mom met this man. I don't know where she met him. I really don't know. I'm just sitting here, me trying to think about it. I really don't know. I don't have a clue if they met on social media or they met on the job. I don't know. But this is what I know. So my mom started dating him, and when my mom was dating this man, of course we moved in with him. We lived with him, so it was never like when my mom was dating him, like she had her own place and then he had his own place, and we used to just like meet up and have family time. It wasn't like that. I don't remember that ever having this that. I just remember we always lived with the man. It was like his house, and he moved us in with him, type thing. When we first started living with him, we first moved into an apartment. And we lived in an apartment with him. I'm telling you, this stepdad, he was so evil. He had so much evil in his heart, and he just hated me and my sister. And he just was really evil. So when we lived in the apartment, he would say a lot of things about me because I was the oldest one, and he really hated me the most. I don't know if it was because my dad was still in my life. So at this time, like during the summer and certain weekends, my mom would drop me off to go and let me be on my dad's house for the weekend and during the summer, and then my mom would come pick me back up. But, I really live with my mom the most. But, on the weekends and like summer breaks, I would go stay with my dad, and he didn't like my dad at all. He hated my dad. And I remember when we lived in this apartment, he was just really evil, and like he did so much things. Like I said, y'all can't really remember everything, but it's like really evil. I remember, clearly, he was teaching me and my little sister how to cook. So keep in mind, I'm in middle school, just got into middle school, and my sister 4 years younger than me. So imagine that. So I remember he was teaching us how to cook, because my mama never taught me how to cook. Nobody else taught me how to cook at that time, at that age. So he was teaching me and my sister supposedly how to cook, but it was an agenda behind it, an alternated agenda behind it. So as we cooking, he was teaching me and my sister how to open up a can opener, because I didn't know how to open up a can opener. And so as he was teaching me how to open up the can opener, when the lid comes up, no one never taught me that you don't put your hand on the, so this is, pretend like this the lid, so you open up the can up and you lift up the lid. No one never taught me don't put your hand on the cutting part around it. You're supposed to put it like in the middle and then try to break it off or get a fork or something, and then just he didn't even teach me that. So this evil stepdad, he literally sat there and watched me put my hands around it and watch me cut my hands to where both of these hands were bleeding really bad. I cut myself really deep, I didn't need stitches or nothing like that, but I cut myself really deep, and it was like that for weeks, and I had to, keep a band-aid on it. And this man sat there and watched me, and I remember as he was watching, he had like a little smirk on his face, like a little evil smile, like he knew that that was gonna happen. He allowed it to happen. Like he didn't stop me. He didn't like say, "Oh no, daughter, you're doing it wrong." That man literally watched me and saw it and let it happen, and he didn't care. And he tried to explain to my mom, "Oh, it was an accident. She accidentally." No, it was not an accident. You let me do that. You was the one in the kitchen teaching us how to cook, and you let me do that. You sat there and watched me. You saw me open up the can, and you literally saw me put my hands around it. You didn't say, "Wait, daughter, you're doing it the wrong." You literally watched me, and you saw me do that, and you let me do that. So that was one thing I noticed about him. I had already begun at an early age that something about this man wasn't right. He was just always evil. He was evil. Um, so after that happened, let me see what else do I remember what happened. So that's all I remember what happened then. But then when we left the apartment, we moved into the two houses we moved in. So um, the first house we moved into that I remember, that house was demonic. It was demon possessed house, and so what happened was, the people that sold us the house, they didn't tell us that someone died in the house, which I still think that that was a lie too. Probably no one didn't die in the house. We don't know for sure, but someone had died in the house, and they didn't tell us that at all. So they moved us in, and I started noticing a lot of demonic things happen. So when we moved into the house, my stepdad, he would buy us a lot of animals. So I had like two rabbits. I had like five little parakeet birds of church. I don't really know the names of them. I just had like a lot of birds. I had like the little small ones, and then I had the really big ones that was like this big, to where they looked at really scary and ugly. And the big ones, I didn't play with them. I just only played with the little small one, and that's the one we used to have like in a little cage and keep in the house. And it would chirp all day, and I would take him out, put him on my finger, and he would just nibble at my finger all the time, and then I would put him back in the cage. But now thinking about it, like those birds were demonic. Those birds was ugly, and I'm thinking like, why would he buy those birds? But anyway, so we had like two rabbits, like five or six birds, and let me see, what else did we have? It was some other animal we had, but I can't remember everything. Like I said, a lot of this stuff was blurry. So, and I remember he would play with the big birds outside, and I was just like, that's kind of weird. I'd never like to play with them. I just would watch him play with them. But so yeah, they didn't tell us that someone died in the house until after the demonic things started happening. And that's when my mom and my stepdad would be calling, like, there's some weird things going on in this house. And that's when they start telling us, oh, someone died. But to me, like I say, I feel like they still was lying. I don't really think that's what happened. But anyway, back to the story. So we moved into this house. I had all these pets that my stepdad was buying us and letting us keep, and then my rabbit died. So the rabbit that I had, the neighbors one day came over and was like, "Yeah, your rabbit died, and we buried it in our yard." And I thought that was so strange. Why would you take my rabbit and bury it in your yard? I thought that was so strange. And then now thinking about it, I'm thinking like maybe those neighbors had something to do with that house being demonic possessed, because I was just like, that was so strange. And then the people that lived next to us, they were like weird and strange. Like they was like really country, and they were weird. Like when you just talking to them, they were just like, you just had this weird vibe from them. Like, you're weird. And like when we lived in the house, I never would like go over there and like, hey neighbor, and like talk to their kids. Like, I'm telling you, like, it was something about them that was so strange and so weird. It was like I had a vibe from them, like, stay away from them type of vibe. Like, I stayed away from them. Like, I never, like, if they waved and spoke, I'll speak before just, like, being nice and friendly and playing outside with their kids. I never played with them. Like, it was something about them that was strange and weird. Like, I never messed with those people. And I thought that was so weird that, I was, like, looking for my rabbit, and I kept telling my mom, I don't know what happened to my rabbit. I think he ran away. And then, poop, out of the blue, the neighbor comes up like, yeah, your rabbit died, and we buried him in our yard. And I'm just like, okay, weirdo, you're weird. Like, that was so strange. But anyway, That's what happened to my first pet. That was sad, but then I got over it. And then another thing happened was like, so we was eating watermelon, right? So we was eating watermelon, and I was always told don't eat the black seeds, but you can eat the white seeds or something like that. Yeah. So me and my stepdad told us like, yeah, eat the black seeds. You can swallow them. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong. You can eat it. But you know, after me and my sister ate the watermelon, like our throats were hurting. Something wasn't right with that watermelon. I don't know if it was the black seeds because my husband said today he says that yeah, you can't eat the black seeds. I don't know if that's true. I never really googled that to really see if that was true, but whatever it was, something wasn't right with that watermelon. I'm telling you because me and my sister, after we ate and swallowed those black seeds, literally our throats was sore for like a week straight. It was like a week or two that it was hurting so bad that I had opened up my mouth and told my mom, and I told her, I said, "Hey, mom, I don't know what happened, but that watermelon we ate, and our stepdad told us to eat the seeds, and our throat has been really hurting really bad." And I told her, she didn't say nothing, and she just like, oh, okay. And that's all she said. She was like, oh, okay. Just don't worry about it. And she left it at that. She never said nothing. And she just was like we would constantly, like me and my sister would constantly start going to her and telling her the stuff that my stepdad was doing to us. And she just was like it was nothing. Like, oh, okay. Just don't worry about it. Oh, okay. Like she really didn't have nothing to say. So that was another thing that happened. He had us to eat this watermelon. I don't know if he put something in the watermelon like that. I don't know. I just know something was not right. There's no reason for you to eat a watermelon and your throat is literally sore and hurting for a week or two straight. That's not normal. I don't care what watermelon you eating. That's not right. Um, and so after that happened, the next thing I remember, um, so one night, in that house, I remember clearly it was one night, it was dark, and it happened when the whole house, it was dark. It was really dark. We never left on night lights or nothing like that, so it was dark. And in my sister's room, we had bunk beds, so I slept at the top of the bunk bed, my sister slept at the bottom. So, and where our room was at, like when you come in our room, my mom, my stepdad room was like right. So as soon as you come out the room, it's like right across the hall. It's like you got to make a little turn, but it was like right there. It wasn't just straight. It was like the room was like a little diagonal, so it was like right there. And so I clearly remember this night I was having nightmares all night, and then like all I know, me and my sister was asleep, and then all I know, we started hearing like things in the kitchen, like cabinets slamming, dishes moving. Like we just heard like a bunch of stuff just like moving in the kitchen, and it was like the stuff that was happening. There's no way that one person, just say like if it was my stepdad just playing a trick on us, there was no way for one person that could have did all that racket in the kitchen by themselves. There's no way for one person to literally open and slam all of the cabinets by themselves. There's no way one person can do that, plus break dishes and plus move stuff around in the house. There was no way that one person can do that all by themselves. So that's what had happened. And like I was just laying in my bed. I was so terrified that I could not get out the bed and just go run to my mom and say, I was so terrified that I just stayed in the bed and I was just like stuck. I just stayed in the bed like this. And my sister, she was in the bottom bunk and she just was like screaming, crying and crying and crying. And like I was just terrified. Like I couldn't do nothing. I couldn't move. I couldn't do nothing. And that kept going for like 5 or 10 minutes. And then my mom and them had woke up because they was asleep. And then, oh yeah, but no, I'm getting ahead of myself. So before they even happened, like I was hearing like someone walking in the hallway. Like I don't know how to explain it, but like you could hear like someone's footsteps. And the crazy part about it, we had carpet. So let me think. Yeah, we had carpet. We didn't have wood floors, so it was crazy to like. How can you hear it? I'm just using this for example. Like even if it was my stepdad playing foot tricks on, how can if he just walking down the hallway, how could we hear his footsteps? You get what I'm saying? So like it was like really loud. You could hear someone walking down the hallway. Like it was loud. It was not like how can you hear that on carpet? So that's what I was hearing first before all the stuff happened in the kitchen. And then after that happened, that's when my mom came in my room and she was like, "What's going on?" And then my sister was just crying and screaming. And me, I'm still shocked. Like, I cannot move. I cannot say nothing. I'm just shocked. And I'm just looking at my mom. And she went to my sister first because, you know, she's the baby, the youngest one. And she's crying and screaming. And then my mom was like, "What's going on?" And then that's my mom came in our room and she's hearing all of the stuff that's going on in the kitchen. And so at this time, that's when my stepdad got up and he went to go turn the lights to go look in the kitchen and see what's going on. So that's how I know it wasn't my stepdad, because they both was in the bedroom. And when my mom came out of the bedroom to come check on me and my sister, that's when he got up and he went in to turn on all the lights, and he didn't see nothing. All he saw was all the cabinets open and stuff around, tossed around in the kitchen and stuff. And he just like, what the heck? So as he's in there investigating and trying to make sure no one broke in the house, because, you know, the first thing, you don't think of demonic spirit. The first you're going to think, oh, someone playing a joke on me. Let me go see if someone who tried to run in my house. So that's what he doing. He's trying to look to see if any doors unlocked, if anyone running in the house. So as all that going on, my mom stayed in the room with us. And my mom is just like, you know, she's scared too. And she just don't know what to say to us. And then all of a sudden, my mom was talking to us, and then all of a sudden, my mom, it's like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like all of a sudden, like that, my mom changed. And then all of a sudden, my mom, right, she was talking, then she just stopped talking, and then she just started looking up at the ceiling. Like, this is the most freakiest paranormal thing that I ever went through out of everything in my life. I'm telling you, it was freaking scary. So my mom, she just started looking up at the ceiling, and I'm watching her. It was like she was demon possessed for like 5 minutes. I kid you not. She was demon possessed. Like, I still today, I still don't know what this means. I really don't know. I really don't know. Like, I kind of know, but like thinking about it all the way like into real details and know, like, was my mom a demon possessed, or was it just a demonic? Like, I don't really know all of that. I'm just know what had happened. I'm just telling you the story of what had happened. So my mama looks up. She's like this. She stops talking. She doesn't talk no more. She just looking at the ceiling, and then like she just turns her head, like you see in the exorcism. She just turns her head, and the crazy part about it, she got inside the corner. Like, okay, so like when you come in our room and you close our room door, she went behind our room door. So behind any room door, there's like a little small corner right there behind the door, and that's where she went. She went in that corner, and she did like this, and she did exactly like this, and she just kept doing it. I'm telling you, for like a whole 5 minutes. I was so freaking terrified and freaked out. Like, this is literally what I was doing. I was like, I could not move, I could not scream, I couldn't do nothing. And my baby sister, she continued to kept screaming because she was just like, what is going on? So my little sister was terrified, and my mom did that for like 5 minutes, and then I don't know what happened. All of a sudden, she just stopped, and then after that, if I don't even think my mom remember her even doing it. Like before I get into the story, me and my mom relationship, we don't really have a relationship. So our relationship all my life has been, we always argue, we never get along, we just always at odds. And then as I got older and I moved out the house, we never had this bond. We just don't talk. Only time we'll talk is like for holidays. And then, like, what are you doing for Christmas? Did you go to granny house? Even though my granny passed away, I feel like my grandma was a knit to keep the family close, because my granny, when the holidays come around, she would have Christmas and Thanksgiving at her house. And that's when all the family would come over, and that's how we kept the family together. But to be honest with you, I never been close with none of my family, including my mom. We just never have a relationship. And I remember my last apartment that I had, me and my sister was sharing this 2-bedroom apartment together, and it was crazy. My mom would come to the apartment, and she would only come see my sister. She would never come to see me. Like, she would call ahead and tell my sister, come downstairs, I'm downstairs. And she would always come and get my sister. And then we started going to this church that was in my apartment. And my mom would come, or she would literally come up the steps, walk past my apartment, go to the church, leave the church, go back downstairs, go to her car and leave, and she would never once come and check on me. And I had asked her once. She said, "Oh, I thought you was at work. I didn't know." And I'm just like, "Okay." And I just left it at that. I never made it a big deal. But I'm just like, it's crazy how you don't know if my other sister in the room going to work, but you call her ahead of time before you come in. You tell her to be ready or meet you downstairs, but you never once come and get me. You never once asked her, "Hey, ask your sister if she want to come ride." It's like she always come up with excuses. And still today, I don't know why my mom don't like me, don't want to have a relationship with me. I don't know, but I gave up on trying. I gave up on trying to have a relationship. I just gave up. I'm like, I'm done trying to have a relationship with her, with someone who don't want to have a relationship with me. It's like I have to put all my eggs in the basket, and you put no eggs in the basket, and I just got tired of it. So that's how me and my mom relationship always been. Me as a little kid, I never heard my mom say "I love you." I never remember my mom hugging me, loving on me, doing nothing like any other mother would do for any of their kids. I never felt that love from my mom. Never, never, never from my mom. Mom never hugged me, told me she loved me. I just always my mama always told me things like, "Yeah, I almost aborted you. I almost aborted your sister." Stuff like that. That's the type of stuff I used to hear as a kid. Even my mama said I never wanted kids. It was an accident, stuff like that. That's what I used to hear. And I'm not making this video to bash my mom. I'm just telling y'all the relationship that I have with my real mom. So this is not talking about Casey, my stepmom. This is about my real mom, my mom that birthed me. So still today, I don't know why my mom just don't like me or why we don't have a relationship. I don't know, but I tried and tried. The last time I saw my mom was for her birthday, was July 11th. She had this little get together at her favorite restaurant. So she invited me to come and a few of my cousins and my sister that I'm talking about in this video. So we came, and my mom is a twin sister. So it's my mom and my aunt. So they're twins. So I went. I really didn't want to go because I told you me and my mom don't really have no relationship. And every time I'm around my mom, it's always negativity. She's always the type that puts you down and always just negative about everything. So that's another reason why I don't like being around her. And then when I went to her birthday, that's exactly what I heard out of her mouth is negativity and negativity and negativity. And this is one of the reasons why I don't want to be around her. It's like my mom had this negative spirit on her. It's always negativity. It's no matter what you try to say that's positive. She always has something negative about to say about everything, and it's annoying. To always be around someone and you talking about something that you want to do, or you just talking about your life, and she got something negative to say all the time. It's annoying. So back to the story. Before I talk about my mom, I just want to clear that up. So back to the story. That happened, and then after she came out the corner looking at this up at the ceiling for like 5 minutes, she said she began to tell us, and that's when she made me get at the top of the bunk bed. And then my mom, she just started praying, and we just said a couple of prayers. And then after we said those prayers, she left our room, and they went back to sleep, and we went back to sleep. And that's how that we never discussed about what happened that night. We never talked about it. She never talked to us about it. Nothing. It's like when that day happened, we just act like nothing else happened. To be honest with you, I don't know if more than one of things happened. Like I said, I can't remember everything. My memory is blurry, but that's all I remember that happened that night. And then when that happened, I was so terrified that I never liked to be in that house by myself. It was a lot of times that I had to be there by myself, and I just know that living in the house, I used to always have this fear on me. Like I was always scared. I always felt like someone was watching me. It was like I was there by myself a lot because my parents both worked, so they would be at work, and I would be the first kid to get out of school before my little sister. So, and then after my little sister got out of school, then she would come home, or I had to go pick her up from the school, like walk up there and then bring her back home. But a lot of times I would be there by myself, like literally be in that house by myself. And when I would be there by myself, what I would do is just stay in my room. I would literally stay in my room because I was so terrified to be in the house. I was scared to even go to the kitchen and eat. Like I was so scared that when I got home from school and I knew that I was going to be there by myself, and I knew my little sister was gone with my mom or gone with my stepdad, or I knew that I was going to be there for hours by myself, literally, I would stay in my room and I would read books, and that's why I would stay. I would not move. I would not, even if I had to pee, I would hold that pee until someone else come home. That's how scared I was. Like, it was not a game living in a house. It was not a game. It was not a game at all to be that fearful. Like, it was not a game. Like, I was really terrified. So that happened, and then eventually the next time we started talking about it, like I told you, is when my parents, my stepdad and my mom, called the owner of the house and was like, what's going on with this house? And they claimed that someone died in the house. That's why all that was happening. My personal opinion, I believe, now that I'm a spiritual person and I have a relationship with God, and I learned a lot about people who do witchcraft and warlocks. Me personally, the person that was living there, maybe there was a witch or something. That's what I'm thinking, and they died. And they probably had an altar in their house. And a lot of things that people don't know is that, like, when a witch or warlock pass away and they have an altar in the house, and, like, you have people that come and move all the stuff out the house, just because you physically moving the altar that's in the house, but you don't know that things are done spiritually. So with the naked eye, you can't see. So you moving it out physically, but that altar is still in the house. So even though that witch or warlock died, that altar is still physically there. So those demons that they had conjured up and was working with, they're still in that house and they're not leaving that house. It takes more work to do to remove that altar that you can't physically see with the eye that's still there in those demonic spirits. You have to really get a pastor that knows about demonic spirits and know about those high level demonic demons to be able to come there and remove it. And at that time, we didn't know nothing about that. My mom definitely didn't know nothing about that. She just know that I know God is real, and God is God, and that's all they knew. My stepdad, to be honest, my stepdad, I don't really remember him being a man of God, because he never talked about God. He never went to church. He never did, until eventually we did start going to church, and he did go to church, but sometimes he would not go to church with us. So he was never I don't really believe that he was a man of God. He probably just pretending to be a Christian. So that's what happened. They told us that someone died. I really think it's more to that, not just someone just dying there. It's more to that story. I really believe that a lot of demonic things happen in that house, and I really believe that those people having trouble with selling that house a lot, because there's so many demonic things that goes on with that house, and I believe that that's been going on with the house for many, many years. And what happened is they thinking that, oh, we could just sell it, don't tell them, and then everything's gonna be okay, and not knowing that, yeah, you sold it or whatever, or renting it out to us, but there's stuff still happening to people that move in there. And then, yeah, we're gonna call and harass you and be like, you sold us this house and you didn't tell us what was going on, and you thought that you're gonna be off the hook by doing that. No, ma'am, no, sir, it doesn't work like that. And they thought that they was gonna get away by doing it, but you didn't get away. So eventually, I think we stayed there a year, and then we moved out. Like I said, I don't know if more demonic things was happening. I can't remember it. That's all I remember as a kid. I don't really remember what else demonic happened there. But I do remember we stayed there at least a year, I believe. At least a year or two before we actually moved out that house. And so, after we moved out that house, and then we moved into another house, the other house we moved into, tell me why. Why does the new house that we moved into look exactly like that old house? Like, the outside, of course, look different. But when you go inside the house, I'm just not thinking about it. It looked exactly like the house. I'm not even kidding. Like, the same style, the same way it was formed up. Kind of looks the same. Kind of does. But when we move into the new house, no demonic things happen in this house, of course. Nothing demonic. But, things started happening with my stepdad that he got more evil and more demonic. Like, for example, my stepdad, he would cook, right? So when he would cook, the food was disgusting. I don't know if he was doing witchcraft on the food. I don't know. But to me, I don't care how bad someone could cook, but there's no reason for your food to be this bad. Like, I'm telling you, y'all, this food would be so bad. Like, it even smelled bad. Like, it was something wrong with that food. I'm telling you, like, the food was so nasty. Like, me and my sister haven't ate all day and we would not eat the food. It doesn't matter how hungry I was. I would, like, literally starve myself for days because the food was so nasty. And then my mom was like, well, since y'all not going to eat the food, you're going to sit at the table all night until you eat it. And literally, we would sit there all night. And we were like, I'm not eating this. And my sister will be like, I'm not eating this either. So we would literally sit there at the table all night for hours. My mom would make us sit there. And then it would be like 12 o'clock. And, we got to get up for school tomorrow. So my mom's like, well, since y'all didn't eat it, don't throw away that food. And when you get home from school tomorrow, you're going to eat that food and you better not throw it away. Tell me why we did what my mom told us to do. We put it up in the refrigerator because my mom didn't really whoop us like that. I think my stepdad is the one who was enforcing my mom to whoop us and beat us. Because to be honest, my mom wasn't really like the whooping type at first. She really wasn't. So tell me why we went home. I mean, we went to sleep, went to school, came back. Tell me why the food went missing. And I know I didn't throw it away because me as a kid, if I threw it away, I would tell you, yeah, mom, I did it. It was nasty. I didn't lie as a kid. I told the truth. Tell me why my mom was like, where's that food? I know you threw it away. And she was blaming me. And I got a whooping for throwing the food away. I don't even think my little sister got a whooping for it, only me. And I remember seeing my stepdad smiling and laughing in the background. My mom didn't see him doing, but I saw him. Like, that man, like, while we was at school, because sometimes he would come home early, because my mom was at work all the time. And then my mom would come home after. Like, I was the first one to come home first, and then my little sister, and then my mom. That's the order that it came. And then my stepdad, he would be the first one, or he would come home after I came home sometimes. So, like, literally, this man went and threw that food away just so he could see me get a whooping. That's how evil he was. And I was just like, as a kid, I started learning and noticing, like, something is not right. I knew I did not throw the food away, and I knew that you did it. But I didn't go tell him that, but I just knew that he did it. I knew, without a doubt, my mom didn't do that. I knew my mom didn't do that. He did that. And so, yeah, I got a beating. I got a whooping because my mama really thought I threw that away, and I didn't do that. Like, if I ever get to see my mom again, and she, texts me and asks to hang out with me, I'm going to ask her. And I'm going to say, Mom, do you remember all this stuff that happened? I'm going to ask her. And I might make a video of me and my mom talking about it. And I'm going to ask her and have her to talk about it. I'm like, do you remember all this stuff that happened? And I'm going to ask her, like, from her side of the story, like, what really happened? Like, Mom, did you really believe that I threw that away? I'm going to ask her and see. But like I said, we really don't have relationships, so I don't really see that happening. But if it does, I guess God heard me talking about it and God gonna let it happen. That's the only way I see that happening. But yeah, this man threw the food away just so he could watch me get a whooping. I'm like, how evil can you be? And how can you not like a kid or want to see a kid to get a whooping that bad? Like, how evil can you be? That man really threw that food away to watch me get a whooping, y'all. Like, really. So that happened. And then, like I was saying, his cooking was disgusting. I know people don't know how to cook, but for your food to be this disgusting, there's something wrong with your food. Like, literally, the food would smell like I would smell it. It smelled like garbage. It smelled bad. It tasted bad. And I'm trying to think about it now. Like, how can your food be that bad? All you needed is, because, like, the food that they made us store was, like, these, I don't know if y'all ever ate it. They were, like, ground meat patties. So it's kind of like hamburgers, kind of, but like I forgot the name of it. It's something because my husband, he eats it all the time now. It's like you make a patty at the ground meat, you stuff it with onions and you season it and you fry it, and then after you fry it, you either put gravy on it and it's like a little patty with gravy and you just eat it like that. You can eat it with bread. Me, I don't like bread, so I just eat it by itself. I'm just like now thinking, like, how can your food be that disgusting that when I smell it, it stinks really bad, it smells like garbage, and when I taste it, it's nasty? I don't get that. I don't know, like I said, I don't know if the man was doing witchcraft on our food. I don't know, but something was not right for that food to be smelling like that and tasting like that. I don't care if you're the worst cook on the planet. There's no way that you cannot fry a freaking patty, put some onions in there, and just put, even if you don't know how to cook, you just gonna sprinkle either just seasoning salt or onion powder or something. Your food cannot be that horrible. I don't get it. I don't get it. I just don't get it. Just thinking about it, I really don't get it. How can your food be that nasty? But even if you don't use enough season, your food should not be that nasty to where it smells and tastes like garbage. That's why I say maybe he probably was doing witchcraft over the food. I don't know. When we moved into that house, that happened. So I got a beating for that. And like my mom couldn't cook either. She didn't know how to cook. So when she would cook, I would eat my mom food because it didn't smell that bad. But my mom no cooking. She just didn't know how to put enough seasoning to give the food flavor. So it'd be like tasteless. But it wasn't that horrible. I could eat her food, so I would eat my mom's food. But when he cooked, I didn't eat it at all. Something wasn't right about that food. And so more things started happening with my stepdad. And so stuff like that happened. And then like when we be watching like movies together, so me and my sister would sit on the floor, like little stuff like this, and them two would sit on the couch and he would make us sit on the floor. So then we would watch a lot of horror movies. So people, when you become spiritually, you know that watching horror movies open up your house with demonic spirits. So you'll be watching those movies, and then those demonic spirits will come at the movies. Or I don't really know how it works. Or like when you watching those demonic movies, you just let more demonic spirits enter your life, and you're never gonna be where you're supposed to be in life because those demonic spirits are gonna cause chaos. They come to kill, steal, and destroy, and that's what they're gonna do. And you're gonna have to probably get deliverance to get rid of those demonic spirits at your house and out of your life and stuff like that. So growing up, we would always watch scary movies as a family all the time, 24/7, all the time. That's all we would watch, scary movies, scary movies, scary movies. And I remember we would watch scary movies, and he would make lies about me to my mom. He would say things like, yeah, she's slow, she's mentally retarded, and he would say things like that just for no reason. And then he would tell my mom, like, yeah, I see her watching you, because my mom would, like, me, like, as a house with girls, we would always, like, be naked around each other, and, like, we will wear, like, little small shorts, you know. But if my stepdad was there, of course, I would have my blanket around me so he wouldn't see me and stuff like that, because, like, me and my sister would be on the floor next to each other. We would have our blankets around each other. And me and my sister would be close to each other because we was close like that as kids. We wasn't doing nothing wrong, but that's how we were. And so my mom would, you know, she would have like a little mini shorts on the weekends when we would watch these horror movies, and he would say things like I was watching my mom butt and stuff, and I knew for a fact I was not doing stuff like that. He would make up lies and like, yeah, like he would like be whispering to my mom as if like I couldn't hear them, but I could clearly hear you, but I just wouldn't say nothing because I'm just like, there's nothing for me to say because my mom is not going to believe me. She's going to continue to believe him because she always believed everything he say over us. Even when we went to her and told her the things he was doing, she never believed us. So it was just like, there was no point of me even saying anything. So he would say things like, yeah, I was watching my mom's body and stuff, and I was being lustful to my mom, and which was not true. I never looked at my mom, put my hand on this Bible. I never looked at my mom in that type of way, never in my life. So I knew that what he was saying was a lie. I never looked at my mom like that, never, including to this day. Because as I got older and I graduated after high school, and me and my mom was living in an apartment together, and my mom could completely show her disgusting body to me and my sister, because like she used to wear this bleaching soap, so she would put it on her body, take a bath, and like put a towel on the couch, and she would like literally walk around the house like Adam and Eve. And I would be like, Mom, I do not want to see you naked. Can you please go put on some clothes? And the only thing my mom had to say was, you don't like it, get your own place when you old enough to get out. And she would do that like all the time. And every time she did it, guess what I did? I would go in my room and close my room door and like try to burn that image out of my head. Like I don't have no type of desire of looking at my mom that type of way. That's disgusting. So yeah, he would make up lies like that in front of my mom and say stuff like that wasn't true. And then my mom would be like, yeah, when she was in my belly, I used to smoke weed, so that's probably why she's acting like that. Like they were just like saying crazy crap about me that wasn't true, and I didn't like that at all because I know that the stuff he was saying wasn't true. He is just like he wanted something to be wrong with me. He wanted something. He is like he wanted my mom to not like me. He wanted my mom to hate me, and that's what his goal and his agenda was with this man. So another thing that I noticed, like, he would favoritism me and my sister. He liked my sister more than me, even though he was mean and evil to my sister. But it just seemed like he was more evil towards me than my sister for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know if it was because my real dad was in my life and he just didn't like the fact that my mom and my dad had to have a bond to come pick me up and drop me off, or he just didn't like my mom kids, period. I think it's just because he just didn't like my mom. I just think it was the fact that my mom had kids by two different men, and I don't like those kids. Them not my kids, so I don't like them kids. I just like your mom because she's fine, and I just like your mom. And I think that's what it really was. What else happened in the house? So that happened. So another thing happened was, like, he would try to find any reason to put his hands on me or to whoop my sister. I'm telling you, he would find the littlest things to have a reason to do it. Like, I would come home from school and the house would be, during the summertime, it would be really, really hot. So the air would be off, the house would be hot to the point when you come in the house, it's so hot that you're about to pass out. So I would start beginning to turn on the air because I'm just like, anybody that's normal, who wants to sit in a house that's really, really hot and can't turn on the air? So I took it upon myself. I was like, okay, I'm going to turn on the air because it's really hot in here. Tell me why, I did that. And, like, a lot of times, like I said, I would be the first one to come home before anybody, before my other sister and before my mom. So I started to do that a few times, and then eventually it started to piss him off. And, like, I remember one time he called my name down the hallway out of my room. He was like, Katasha. And I came, I was like, yes. And he grabbed my arm really hard. When I tell you he grabbed he grabbed it so hard to literally he almost broke my arm, because after he did that, my arm would be really sore for like a week straight from him grabbing me. And you would see a print on my arm. It was like almost like child abuse, almost. And he called me down the hallway in front of the monitor where you change the air to heat and air. And he was like, who told you to move it? Did I tell you to do that? And I was like, I was really terrified of this man as a kid. Of course you're terrified of someone, especially when you keep going to your mom and telling him the stuff that he's doing and she's not listening. And it's like, you just feel like you're alone. You're in this by yourself and you don't have nowhere to talk to and no outlet to tell nobody. And he was like, who told you? I was like, nobody, I did. And I was just like, it was really hot in here to where I was going to pass out. So I turned it on. And this man literally, he grabbed my arm and he squeezed my arm really, really, really hard. And he did that really hard. And I just started crying. And he was like, you better not touch that air no more. And I'm not killing you. You better not touch it no more. And he threatened me. I can't remember exactly what he said. He threatened me. He even slapped me or something like that. I can't remember exactly. He either slapped me or either he slapped me on my back or something like that after he did that. And I remember I just went to my room and he was like, you better not tell your mom what I told you. Either you better not say nothing. And that was another thing he would tell us too. You better not tell your mom and you better not say nothing to your mom. So later I just went in my room and I just cried. And I remember every time he would come home, I would not come around him. I would just literally stay in my room and just like try to stay away from him. So that happened, and I remember another time he whooped us because of something else. I can't remember why he whooped us. There was another time he whooped us. Like, he would constantly always grab my wrist really hard. He would, like, grab me by my shirt and, like, chastise me like that. He would just, like, just bam, hit me really hard, real quick for no reason. I remember one time he didn't whoop me. Instead, he whooped my sister, and he hold her up upside down, so her foot up here hold up upside down, and he really just got a belt and just beat my sister, beat her for like 10 minutes. And like my mom, like all the stuff he didn't do it when my mom was around. He did it when my mom wasn't around. And he did that. He literally hold my sister up in there and whipped her and beat her for like a long time. And it's like, as his older sister, like I couldn't really do nothing. I was scared for myself because if I tried anything, he was gonna do the same thing to me. Yeah, so I was just like, this man is nuts and this man crazy. Like, literally, he will beat us and harm us for the most stupidest things. It wasn't like we was like baby kids and just doing stuff bad. It just like he just found any reason he could. Oh, you turned on this light? oh, you ate this food? Oh, okay, now I'm for to beat you, like stuff like that. It was like, it was traumatizing as a kid because it was so frustrating. Like, as a kid, I knew something wasn't right about this man. I knew that he was evil, but I would go to my mom, and it's like, I don't know if she didn't believe us or she did believe us and just didn't want to, wake up and say, what my kids are saying is true, and, and accept it. I think she just was like, I think she knew it was true, or she just was like in between, like, I love this man, or I really want to be with this man. I don't know if my kids are just making this up. I think that's what she was like in between that. So, like I said, I'm not mad at my mom from this. I just feel like all this stuff was a learning experience because it just taught me, like, for future events. So, like, if I have kids, for example, like, if I already had kids and, like, if I was dating other dudes, and I would know, like, if my kid's coming and telling me something, I know I'm going to believe my kid. A kid is not going to, 9 times out of 10, like I say, kids are innocent, and kid is not just going to make up something like that. 9 times out of 10, there's different occasions, that other percent, but 9 times a kid is innocent. They're not going to just make up some crazy stuff like that just for no reason. Kids are not intentionally evil like that. They have to be taught to be evil. So I think that's what my mom was. So that happened. Like, he would just beat us for no reason. He would whoop me with a belt, and, like, but he would really beat my sister. But like I said, he had favoritism, or he liked my sister more than me for some reason, and he would do that. Like, he would, like, sometimes leave me at the house by myself and take my sister and, like, tell my sister to come with him, and, like, he would spend more time with my sister. Like, he would make me go in my room, and, like, him and my sister will be talking and laughing in the living room, and, like, he would leave me out, single me out, stuff like that. And I was just like, okay, like, that's how it was my life as a kid. So keep in mind, this was going on, like, I went through this through elementary school till I got to middle school. So yeah, that had happened for a long time. So that happened. And I remember one other time, it got to the point that when I should start going to my dad's house in the summer and the weekends. So, like, Casey, my stepmom, and my dad, I started telling them what was going on, because it was, like, to the point, like, it was really bothering me and hindering me as a kid. So I was like, I had to tell somebody, and my mom was not listening. So now I think this is when my mama started really woken up. Like, my daughter must not be lying if she really going to the center to tell other people, her stepmom and her father, and they started getting involved. And I really think this when mom started really waking up. So when I would tell my dad back then, like, my dad lifestyle, my dad was a drug dealer. He was a trapper. My dad, he got guns, and he was really like that thug lifestyle. My dad, when it comes to me and any of his kids, he even accepted my sister that was living with me, my mom at the time. He could even still today consider her as his child because she been around since she was a little baby. So my sister dad, which is when we 4 years apart, her dad left her when she was a baby. He left and moved back to his state where he lived, and he never tried to find my sister or nothing. So my dad is always accepted, because when he left, my dad was always in my mom and my sister's life and all of our lives, even when my sister was a little baby. So he still today claim her as his child, even though my sister don't claim that that's my father, but he does. He like, that's my child. You're always gonna be my child, no matter what nobody says. So when I began to tell my dad and Casey, my stepmom, what was going on, they raised hell in hot water. They was like, oh, no, you're not for the, because they know how Katasha is. Katasha is an innocent kid. She's nice. She's a good kid. I'm not a bad kid. And they know for a fact, like, Katasha is not bad. So when I began to tell them, like, they would call my mom, they would cuss my mom, well, especially Casey, they would cuss and threaten them, and, like, if he keep putting his hands on her, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. And then things got even worse. Like, that kind of helped him to stop being so harsh to me, but that didn't help him stop beating my sister and keep holding her in the air and beating her with a belt. That's child abuse. And finding any reason to beat my sister, that didn't stop that. And then it didn't really stop him from being abusive to me as well, because he was still hold my arm down and squeeze my arm real hard. He wasn't doing it as often, but it's kind of like he bagged up a lot. And so that the instance when I told him about it, he grabbed me in my arm and I told him that my dad literally pulled the gun out on him. Like, my mom, we would always go to this Shell gas station in the hood to drop me off. So like they would meet up, and he would always come with my mom. So they would meet up. They would meet at this gas station. I would come get my clothes and get in my dad's car. My dad, say goodbye to them and like that. But this time, my dad, he was really about that life. That my dad really got on his head. My dad was really came up to him, and so and the whole time that they talking, my stepdad, he got his window rolled all the way up, and then he cracked it like this much. That's how scared the man did not get out the car. He did not really want that. He was not really about that life. He was scared. He never got out the car. So everything he was saying to my dad was like this. And my dad kept telling him, bro, open up the car, get out the car, roll down the window. Why you won't open up the window? Get out the car, be a man. You want to put your hands on kids, but you don't want to face me like a man. You want to talk to me through a crack of a window. And then once my dad put out the gun, he was like, dude, I'm telling you, get out the car right now. My dad put out the gun on him. Tell me why that dude, he smashed the paddle in that car and he was gone. And I was just like, it was crazy. So then over time, I just stopped telling my dad and Casey the stuff that he was doing because I just feel like he was making it worse. So I was like, now my stepdad hates me more. And I wasn't really trying to get it to that chaos situation. I just was trying to get it to where you would stop putting your hands on me and my sister. But it seemed like it made it more worse because it was like, even though he wasn't putting his hands on, he was putting his hands on me less, but he was still doing it just like every blue moon. So I think eventually I just stopped telling them because I just like it was making more drama, especially my mom, because they were calling my mom and threatening my mom and cussing my mom out. So I just stopped telling them stuff. I'm trying to remember what else happened. What else happened that he did? I'm trying to think what else happened. I had it all in my head, but I don't know, my memory just disappeared. Oh yeah, so this is another incident that happened. So my stepdad, he knew I hated him. He knew I wouldn't say I hate him, but I just didn't like him because I just couldn't understand why someone hated me so much and treated me so bad. And I didn't ever do nothing wrong to this man. I didn't do nothing to him, and he just hated me. But he knew I didn't like him. And I remember one time I was in the kitchen washing dishes, and I remember he came up to me and he whispered in my ear. He was like, "Yeah, I know you don't like me, but I just want to let you know that me and your mom is about to get married and there's nothing you could do about it." And he laughed in my ear and I got so mad. Like I was washing dishes, I hurried up and washed the dishes and I went in my room and then I had told my little sister, I was like, that's what he told me in my ear, that him and mom was going to get married. And me and my sister discussed it in our room, and I was just like, yeah, we don't like that idea of our mom getting married to that crazy man. And me and my sister both did not like him, but we still had to be nice to him because that's what my mom told us to do. Even though he was doing that stuff to us, we still had to be nice. We could not be mean back. We just had to fake like everything was so perfect, and when it really wasn't. And so when he came out and said that, I think I said something to my mom, and I was like, so mom, is it true that you're gonna marry him? I think that's all I said. And she was like, I don't know. Yeah, I think actually before I went in my room, got pissed off, I think I snuck in my mom's room. Cause I think he went outside or something. I had snuck in my mom's room, and I was like, so mom, is it true that y'all are gonna get married? And this is exactly what she said. She was like, I think she said yes, or either she said, I'm not really sure, but we supposed to. That's exactly what she said. And I didn't say nothing else. I just said okay, and I just walked out of her room and I went into my room, and I think I even started crying because I knew that pretty much the reason why he was saying that, because if they get married, that he was going to be a part of my life for the rest of my life until I got into high school and graduated in high school. Pretty much him telling me that it was like my life is going to be a living hell the rest of my life, and I was going to be a miserable child for the rest of my life until I was able to move out. And I didn't like that idea at all. This man going to be in my life forever, and I'm going to live this hell life forever, and I did not like that at all. And that's the only thing that was going in my head over and over, that I'm going to have to deal with this for the rest of my life, and I didn't like that. So, for now, that's all I can remember, the stuff that he used to do. I can't really remember nothing else. Besides, he used to give us chores and make us clean up and stuff. I don't see nothing wrong with that, but that's all the things that I can remember. I know there was more stuff that happened, but that's all I can remember. Um, like I said, I would try to make a part two one day, having my mom talking about it. And I feel like if my mom talk about it, then more stuff, because like certain things will make you remember stuff that happened. Because like even today, like when my husband will tell me something or tell a story or something, then it triggers something that I'm like, oh yeah, that did happen to me. For a long time, I didn't remember, but now that you said that, it brings up. So maybe hear my mom talk about it, it will make me remember some more things that happened that I can't remember. I don't know, with this guy, we lived in 2 apartments and we lived in 2 houses. So we lived in 4 different places with this guy. So he was in our life a pretty long time before he actually got out of our lives. And how he got out of our lives was, I remember one day when this happened, I don't think I went to church with my mom, but eventually we started going to church. And when we started going to church, that made things worse, of course, because we started going to this church with him. I don't know if this is his church he was going to before he met us, or my mom and him both found his church together. I don't know, but we still going to this church, and more things started bad happening to us. Like my mom's car had got broken into. The members at the church was like so mean to us. They was judging my mom because my mom didn't want to wear a turtleneck and a skirt down to her ankles like a Pentecostal church, and trying to tell my mom and my aunt that that's not living Christian because you not wearing a skirt to your ankles and a turtleneck to your neck, that you're going to hell. And it was like a whole bunch of chaos at that church, and it's like things just started getting worse and worse and worse. So one day, I think I wasn't with my mom when she went to church. I don't know if she went to that church or she went to go visit another church, but when this happened, I was not in the picture. I was at my dad's house or somewhere, and all I know, my mom, this is what my mom told me, how she got, recently, my mom had told me this like 3 years ago, and my mom had told me this, she told me this a long time ago, I think like 3 or 4 years ago. She said the only reason I had got out of that relationship was because one day I went to church, and this is what came out of my mom's mouth. She said one day I went to church, and I think it was a prophet or something like that. And the lady had called my mom. I don't know if it was a man or a woman. She said they had called me, and she said, young woman, young lady, God told me to tell you that if you don't leave that man, he's going to kill you and your kids. And that's what the prophet had told my mom. And my mom, I remember my mom told me she just was crying and crying and crying. And then that's when she had made up her mind that she was going to leave the men. And that's when she knew that everything that I was telling her was true and it wasn't a lie. That everything, wow, my oldest daughter and my youngest daughter kept telling me it was true this whole time for years. And they was not lying. They was telling the truth. And all I remember as a kid is, all I remember is one day we started packing our stuff and we had left. And we never looked back. And I remember that. I was so glad that when we moved out. When we moved out, I don't remember where we moved to. I don't remember if we moved in with a family member. I don't, like I say, a lot of this is fuzzy. I only remember some certain parts, and that's all I remember. All I remember, we moved out. We never moved back then. I don't know if my mom was still talking to him after we moved out. She probably was, because you know how it is when you still have feelings for someone, you still talk to them and stuff like that. I do remember this that my mom told me though. She told me that, after we moved out or whatever, she told me that she was like, he had called her one day because he had swallowed a cap. I don't know if it was like a water bottle cap or if it was like a cap, the little silver part to a soda cap. I think it was a silver part to the soda cap. Somehow the man swallowed it and he called my mom, and my mom came over there and helped him. Like, she called 911 and saved his life. And I'm just like, you see how God worked. You see how you was being so nasty to me, my mom, and my sisters, and you see how you almost died. Like, that's why I say revenge is the Lord. Revenge is the Lord. Let God handle your adversary. Let God handle your enemies. I'm telling you. And I would tell another story of how I was praying to God about my enemies. I'm not talking about evil prayers. Like, though, and another thing I would say about that, don't be saying evil prayers and wishing death on people. That's not of God. But just praying, God, please bring me out. God, please hear my cry, Lord. Help me, Lord. And praying, Lord, these people, this girl is being evil to me, Lord. And I don't know what I did wrong, but if I did something wrong on my part, Lord, show me and help me to have understanding. Like, those are the type of prayers I was saying. And those type of prayers will help you. God will deal with your enemies in a quick in a moment, I'm telling you. And that's what happened with him. Like, he was doing all the evil stuff. And to be honest with you, I don't really know. Because sometimes I think about this. I'm like, was he abusive to my mom, dad? I don't know. I don't know if he used to beat my mom or not. So that's why I would say if I ever talk to my mom, I would get the full story to see if he was abusive to my mom and did he beat my mom. Because he probably was. I just probably never saw it. But I know they used to argue a lot too, so I remember that as a kid. But yeah, that's it for the story. That's all I remember, and that's all I have to say. That stepdad was evil, and the crazy part about all this that I said, the demonic stuff that used to happen in the house, I remember that address of this house. Like, that address, for some reason, it's like embedded. It's stuck in my head, and I can't get the address out. Like, it's like today, if I just want to go visit the house, I know how to put the whole address in my GPS to go find the house. That's how crazy it is that address will not get out of my head. I don't know why I remember that address as a little bitty kid. Like, I don't know why. We done lived in 2 apartments and 2 houses, and I don't remember none of those addresses, but the only address I remember is just the only one that had the money things that happened in the house for some reason. To me, that's kind of weird. I don't know if that's weird to you, but to me, that's kind of weird that that's the only address I remember that's embedded in my head, that it's been with me my whole life, that I cannot not get that address out of my head. That's kind of weird to me, but anyway, that's a story about my crazy, evil stepdad. Oh yeah, another thing I want to tell y'all is, yes, he's still alive to this day that I know of, because recently my mom told me when I had moved in with my mom for a year, like 2 years ago, she was like, yeah, he tried to talk to her twin sister, because I told you my mom was a twin, right? So my mom has a sister, which is my aunt, and he tried to talk to my aunt through some site. I can't remember. It was like Facebook or something. He tried to message my auntie and try to talk to my auntie. And I'm just like, my mom and sister, my mom and my aunt don't roll like that. We don't, in my family, we don't do that. We don't play that. We don't go date your exes. We don't go date the dude that you used to date and go talk to his homeboy or his, we don't roll like that. So I don't know why he thought that was gonna work, trying to talk to my aunt. And at the time, my aunt was married to her husband. I'm just like, you're sick. That man is sick. And then another part about this, I still remember the evil stepdad first name and last name. Like, if I wanted to go find him on social media, I could probably go find him. I never thought about going finding him. I don't even think about to go look for him. I'm just like, it's like I can't. It's like I remember his full name. I remember the address of that house so bad. And it's like, if I really want to go find him, I could go find him. But I'm not going to do it. I'm never going to go look for him. I'm just saying that's how bad that evil man is embedded in my head. It's crazy. I just think that's so weird. I don't know if y'all think it's weird, but it's just me. I just think that's kind of strange. But anyway, that's it. That's one of the trauma I went through as a kid. So yeah, that's it for this video.